and welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly. Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today we're going to be doing another session of book reviews, and today I'm doing Marcus Gleitzman's Once, Stewart Foster's Checkmates, and Ransom Riggs's Miss Peregrines' Home for Peculiar Children. So we're going to start off with Once by Marcus Gleitzman. This book was very entertaining. I loved this book. It was quite grim though at parts. It had a lot of injury detail in it, and it was quite dark. Though I felt like I was there while I was reading it. As I was reading it, at the start, of course, he is getting soup and he finds a full carrot in it. And I felt like I was Felix, just finding the carrot and stuffing it in his pocket. So I thought the book was very descriptive in that way. It was well written. I got lost in the book very easily, and I was so in it that I just read it in one sitting. I just kept reading it, and I loved it. And I thought the storyline was quite good, in the sense that it's not an unusual topic, but it was an unusual story about a child of two booksellers who is running from the Nazis and joins this kind of and becomes a friend of this little girl called Zelda. It's just quite out there, and I think that's why a lot of people like it. It's definitely why I liked it. Though it was very entertaining, but at the same time very intense, and it moved very quickly, but not in a bad way. It kept moving, and it wasn't too fast-paced, in my opinion. It was just right, because it was a kind of story that you kind of had to get on with. It was very hard to describe it. But I really liked the book overall, and I'd give it around an 8 out of 10, because at parts I kind of felt, I'm not really enjoying this particular part. Now, this is my opinion. I just went, oh God, no, don't really like that part. And then the grim parts in it, I felt didn't need to be there. So it's definitely an 8 out of 10 for me. The next book, I started reading it and I went, oh God, no, oh God, no. And when I finished, I went, that is the best book of all time. And this is Stewart Foster's Checkmates. Now, some of you might know Stewart Foster from writing All the Things That Could Go Wrong, or the other book, The Bubble Boy, which I read, and that was very good. But Checkmates. So the storyline was very quirky, because it was about a granddad in a pink car who has a grandson who gets into chess and becomes a chess champion. So that's quite interesting in itself. It was very heartfelt. I could kind of feel the connection between the two men, or the mates, as they call it, the checkmates. And I loved that. And I found it a very interesting read, in the sense that it was you could kind of relate to it. That for someone who might have a granddad who's reading this and going, oh, this is about literally a granddad's relationship with a boy about chess. And I know some granddads do like to play chess and do teach their grandsons or granddaughters how to play chess. It was understandable, though, at the same time. As I was saying, the storyline was very quirky, but it was understandable at the same time, the way it was relatable. And me myself, while I was reading it, I didn't know how to play chess. So I kind of learned a lot about chess while reading that book. But this is an amazing factor, and this isn't in a lot of books. It's good for the young and old. The young can read it, the old can read it, and it'll still be enjoyable all the same. It's a very good book. I'd give it a definitely 9 to 10 out of 10 there now. Probably 10. It's a very, very good book. Very interesting. I'd love to see more Stewart Foster though. But that's anyways his checkmates. Now the next book that I'm about to talk about, a lot of you might know. This is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And a lot of you would know that as a motion picture and not as a book. But that was actually based on a book. And it's by Ransom Riggs. And Ransom Riggs is a very good author. So it was very out there now, the storyline. Peculiar children, portals under a stone. I didn't understand it. But at the same time, that's what made me love it. It was very weird, the type of text. He kind of mixed love with mental health problems, as in that the main character, Jacob, he was very traumatized by what he saw with these peculiar children, or what his gift was, that he was a peculiar. So that was kind of like that. Now, this is something that I have came across in this book, but it has a lot of strong language. It does have a lot of strong language. It wouldn't be for younger children because of that. The storyline, it could be for younger children if it wasn't so dark, but it's got a lot of strong language in there. So just to note that while you're reading that book, you might want to be a bit older. But moving on from that, the characters in this were amazing. I was astounded by reading about all these different characters, and the boy with the bee beard, the girl with the massive kind of like jaw mouth. It was crazy, and it didn't get in too quickly. I like to go in slow and steady. Like, it was about a quarter way through the book before they actually went to Wales to go to the island where they were. So we moved quite slowly, and I liked that. And then it became more fast-paced. It built a momentum throughout the book, and I really liked that. But there was another factor that made this book so amazing. The photographs. So there were photographs included in the new edition, and I think the old edition, I'm not very sure. I only finished this today, and I wanted to get this out as quick as I could, as it was fresh in my mind. But they looked like they were photoshopped. They actually were amazing photos. I kind of thought there has to be some kind of thing, and they did say at the end of the book some of them were slightly developed. That doesn't mean they started using Photoshop on it. It was just they were developed in such a way. Like, there was a woman standing over a pond, and her reflection under her was two women. It was very kind of creepy, some of the images. But they were so creepy, they were good, if you know what I mean. And it was definitely a class introduction to Ransom Riggs. I think there's 5 more books in the series. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. So we had Once by Morris Gleitzman. We had Stewart Foster with Checkmates, and Ransom Riggs's Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which got a 9.5 out of 10 simply because of its darkness. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye guys!